Welcome back, college football fans, to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. This is my reaction and recap to Iowa's 22-0 home victory on Saturday over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. With the victory, Iowa improves to 8-2, 5-2 overall in Big Ten Conference play, while Rutgers falls to 6-4 and 3-4 in Big Ten Conference play. Now, my initial thoughts and analysis and words on this is what a big victory this ended up being for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I'll expand on that here shortly. But easily and absolutely Iowa's most complete game and victory and outing of the entire season in all phases of football, defense, special teams, which we know they have been operating at the highest level all year, as they normally do, but especially offensively. I mean, hands down, the best offensive day that we've had watching the Iowa Hawkeyes this season on the field. And yeah, overall, a very satisfying victory if you are a Hawkeye fan. But I will give much love and props to the Rutgers fans who are watching. I appreciate your time, your attention, and to all of you who are viewing this episode, please, if you like what you hear or what you see, please subscribe, like, share, rate, and I always ask and request and would want your feedback and your participation. So please let your voice be heard and comment to anything in response to anything that I say, or if there's anything that you would like to add to the discussion amongst us college football fans. But overall, a very, very good outing for Rutgers. I mean, they played hard. They never gave up. They played till the very end, which is something that we've been able to get used to and expect from a Greg Schiano-led football team. And this Rutgers program is definitely heading in the right direction. So great effort by Rutgers. But let's start with Iowa. So what really impressed me about watching this game was the Iowa offense. And Deacon Hill, I'm going to start off right there, because the quarterback play has really been the make or break issue for Iowa for the last several seasons. Coming into the game, Iowa was dead last in total offense in the entire nation. I mean, the Iowa offense has been the ongoing joke in college football, and deservedly so. I mean, it's an embarrassment, it's a joke, and it has to get better. And Deacon Hill, if you're not familiar, he entered this season number 3 on the depth chart, then rose to number 2 when Joe Labus injured himself during summer and fall camp. And then Cade McNamara went down week 5 early in the first half, and Deacon Hill has been thrust into the starting role ever since, and really has, up to this game, regressed. He has gone the wrong direction as far as performance. Now, today, though, very, very workmanlike effort for Deacon Hill. Numbers, overall, they don't jump off the screen or the page at you. But when you look at what he did today, it is something that is very, very satisfying and really something that accomplishes what the Iowa Hawkeyes need and demand from quarterback play. And that's just to be average at best and do not put the team in a bad position and try to covet and take care of the ball. Deacon's numbers today, he was 20 of 31, easily his best day as far as completion percentage. He ended up with 223 passing yards, also a season high, 1 touchdown to 1 interception. So definitely made some improvement. Now, the big question mark we have as Hawkeye fans is, does this mean that Deacon Hill has, turned the corner? We hope so, but I am still cautiously optimistic that at any given time we could see Deacon Hill's struggles continue. I mean, this is great. It's exactly what he needed and the team needed to build that confidence, build that team chemistry. But I am not going to sit here and tell you that we can expect this kind of effort and performance and stats that we saw today. We hope, but that is yet to be determined. I mean, what I think of this is if Deacon Hill can pass for 200 yards a game, try to get one passing touchdown, but don't turn the ball over at all through the air or the ground, that's really him doing his job. All right, and that was basically accomplished today, except for that one interception. The offense in Deacon Hill was really aided by Iowa's rushing attack. The rushing numbers, really what you want, and this is what I've been saying for the last few seasons, guys. During Iowa's struggles offensively, it has started and ended with the lack of production along the offensive line. They've had troubles the last few seasons being consistent with run blocking. That's been the big one. There hasn't been a lot of holes that have been available, if not for very long, and they have really struggled with pass protection. But on Saturday against Rutgers, they tallied 179 rushing yards, did the Iowa rushing attack on, 46 attempts, so just under 4 yards per carry. That's exactly what you want. And the Iowa offense will either come and go based on that rushing attack. Iowa has 3 legit running backs who have proven themselves, who have legitimate time and reps, so they just need to keep feeding those guys. And if they can pick up 150 yards a game and Deacon Hill can pass for 200, that really is going to correlate in a very, very high probability for an Iowa victory. And we saw that against Rutgers on Saturday. So overall, great job by the offensive line, the Iowa running backs, and Deacon Hill. Now that one pick that Deacon Hill threw is something that I do want to speak on a little bit, all right? At that time, Iowa clinged, I do my own stunts here on the Touchdown Black and Go vlog. They clung to a 3-0 lead at the time. They were up 3-0 at the time. It was under 20 seconds left in the first half. Iowa was setting up first and goal to go inside the 10-yard line, I think maybe at the 8. And at that point, getting 3 points on the board is really all you would need, because it has been so difficult at times for this Iowa offense to simply manufacture points and put points on the board. And what Deacon Hill did, he really did the things that I have pointed out in recent reaction and recap episodes. He made that pre-snap read and decision that that's the person I am going to throw to no matter what. That's what happened, and it was picked off, and Iowa did end up surviving going into halftime up 3-0. But here's where it could have easily changed, okay? Because this could have been a pivotal moment in this game, really for either team. If Iowa is able to get into the end zone there and be up 10-0 going into halftime, at that point the game is pretty much over. Now, if the Rutgers defensive back, if he would have made that interception cleanly, and if you watched, he basically, it was tapped up in the air and he caught it, he brought it in on the way down to the ground. If that is a clean pick, that is 6 points going the other direction. And Iowa then finds themselves down 7-3 at the half. So it was a huge turning point for both teams. So Iowa has to take care of the ball. Ball security is pivotal and vital for Iowa. It is for any team in any game, but especially for an offense that basically is dead last in pretty much every major stat when it comes down to offense. So Deacon Hill has to take care of the ball. Now, he did fumble the ball also on a snap, but he did have the hindsight to stick with it, and he recovered that fumble. So limited the damage on that one. But we have to take care of the ball a little bit better. And something too, I got to mention the Iowa special teams overall, really good. We know that's something that we are going to lean on as well. Kicker Drew Stevens was 3 of 4 from on the afternoon, kicking field goals. He missed his the initial field goal try on Iowa's opening drive. So once again, that is something that Iowa cannot afford to do. We must not leave points on the field. Now, it was a long attempt. I believe it was a 50-yarder, if not a little bit longer. So not a chip shot by any means, all right? But that's something that the Iowa special teams has to do. We cannot afford to not cash in on those scoring attempts. But overall, that's really all I have to say about the offense. I mean, I kind of feel like Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that. But overall, I was really, really happy with watching them play. I mean, it was the typical Iowa game at halftime, 3-0. And at that point, it's almost like, this is going to correlate to an Iowa victory because we've seen it time and time again. Now, the defense, really quick, I got to give them a shout out and props. I mean, they keeping Rutgers off the scoreboard, pitching that shutout, and especially against the stud running back of Rutgers. He coming into the game, Kyle Monungai, he led the Big Ten in rushing. He still might. But on the day, the Iowa defense gave up only 39 yards rushing to the Big Ten's leading rusher on the season. So once again, that Iowa defense clamping down and doing what they do. They did force one Gavin Wimsett interception late in the second half, which did lead to points. So the Iowa defense continues just to do what they do. And unfortunately, we've gotten so used to that and spoiled us Hawkeye fans that when they do put out a performance like this, we basically just chalk it up as another day at the office. But overall, what a great effort and an overall complete performance by the Iowa Hawkeyes. So hopefully that continues. I mean, that was week 11 over the weekend, which is depressing that it's almost at the end already. So 2 games to go. So hopefully Iowa can continue to build off that victory and continue to grow and work out some of those kinks and progress. But I got to tell you, down the stretch here, I think it's going to be a little bit hairy at times. All right. So let me get into why that was such a big victory for Iowa on Saturday. It's kind of like Days of Our Lives, right? The soap opera that is the Big Ten West Division. Like sands through the hourglass, so is the Big Ten West. When coming into the day, Iowa had a 1-game lead in within the division, but what we saw happen on Saturday is Nebraska lost at home to Maryland. Minnesota, who has the tiebreaker due to their head-to-head victory against Iowa. Minnesota lost on the road at Purdue, and Wisconsin lost at home to Northwestern. So here we are now. Iowa took advantage of that with the other contenders in the division losing, and now Iowa finds themselves completely in the driver's seat. They now have a 2-game lead on anybody and everybody in that division. And all Iowa simply has to do is win one of these last 2 games, whether if that's this coming weekend's game, the home finale on Senior Day against Illinois, or the annual Black Friday, the Heroes game against Nebraska in Lincoln next week. All they have to do is win one, and Iowa will then punch their ticket to get back to Indianapolis to face on the winner of the Big Ten East Division to try to hoist the Big Ten trophy, the championship trophy this season, which would be the second time in 3 years if Iowa is able to win one out of their last two. Now, I just say go out there and win this weekend. Don't have to worry about going into that Black Friday matchup at Lincoln needing a victory. Just get it done this weekend, and then we are good to go. Get it done rather than having to stress yourselves out and stress us fans out once again. All right? So hopefully they can get it done. But why I'm saying that is I also think that Iowa will lose one of these last two games. I just don't know who it's going to be against. But I do have to refer back to my preseason picks when I did give you my predictions for Iowa's record. I did project them to go 9-3 in the regular season, but one of those three losses included a loss at Lincoln on Black Friday. So hopefully Iowa takes care of business at home against Illinois this weekend, and we are officially Big Ten West champions. So we'll see how that plays out. So a huge victory. And it's crazy to think about because how bad Iowa has played at times this season, and they've played bad, especially offensively, right? That they are right there on the precipice of winning this division. It really, yes, does it kind of go into the overall narrative is the Big Ten West is absolutely down this season? It is, but Iowa is probably going to end up being the best team in that division because all these other teams have had chance after chance to capitalize on this season that Iowa is going through, but it seems like nobody wants to grasp and take advantage of their opportunity. But then Iowa is not gonna blow their shot. I'm not throwing away their shot. They're not. All right, so it really comes back to what's been going on in this division to where here we are. The scenarios that Illinois and Northwestern are still very much alive. If Northwestern wins out and Iowa loses their next two games, Northwestern would win the Big Ten West. Same thing for Illinois. If Illinois wins out, which would then include a win over Northwestern, those two Illinois teams still play each other last game of the season. So if Illinois wins out and Iowa loses their last two, Illinois would claim the Big Ten West. So it's crazy that it's going to come down to this. So there is still plenty to play for if you're a Iowa Hawkeye fan or if you find yourselves on that field the next 2 weeks. So huge opportunity awaits our Hawkeyes this Saturday. I say we just get it done, treat it like this is our last opportunity. If you had one chance, one shot, one opportunity. All right? Now, I do want to go into coaching a little bit, okay? Because it's something that has to be pointed out. And once again, I'm sorry I didn't mention this. Iowa's best offensive output this past weekend. Iowa ended up putting out, 402 total yards compared to 127 for Rutgers. So easily, once again, Iowa's best day offensively. All right. Now, let's talk about coaching a little bit. All right. I'm going to start off with the defense. Some of you may or may not be familiar with the Broyles Award, but that is given each and every year to the top assistant coach in college football, all right? So not head coach, but could be offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coach. It could even be the head coach of a potential unit, the O-line coach. But this is what I'm going to point out, all right? With Iowa having the worst offense of the nation, they're currently 8-2. And we have the opportunity to win out and go 10-2, even having the worst offense in the nation, they have a chance to get to double-digit victories without potentially playing in the Big Ten championship game and in the bowl game in the postseason. So I'm telling you right now that if anybody else other than Iowa defensive coordinator Phil Parker wins the Broyles Award this season, if Iowa is able to win the West, it's an absolute travesty, an injustice that needs to be addressed. I mean, this guy continues to not get the love and respect and notoriety that he deserves. Yes, I know that Iowa hasn't played juggernauts this season. That has really been one of the two outliers for us this season. Is yes, the Big Ten West is down, all right? And also the overall schedule. We did not play Michigan or Ohio State this season from the East. We did play Penn State and got absolutely used and abused 31-0. But still, they did not play an FCS opponent. So at least every team they played was a Division I opponent. And here's the numbers. Look at this from a defensive standpoint, just in general as a fan. If you were to hear this, regardless of who you root for, you're going to be like, that is incredible. Now listen to this. 10 games in, the Iowa defense under DC Parker's tutelage and leadership, they have given up 14 points or less in 8. 8 out of 10 games, they have given up 14 points or less. And when you look further in depth to those 8, 5 of those 8, they've given up 10 points or less. That is absolutely incredible. That is next level, next universe. It has to be rewarded. DC, Phil Parker, must win the Broyles Award this season for what they are doing defensively in Iowa City. Now, also going along with coaching, now this has been a very tumultuous season for head coach Kirk Ferentz. 2 weeks ago, it was announced that much embattled OC, his son Brian Ferentz, will not return to the program at season's end. People have been wondering, will this be his last season? What will he do? Should Iowa move on after 20 plus seasons? It's time maybe to get fresh blood. I'm not going to give my opinion on that. But say what you will. If we are able to win out, to go 10-2, even 9-3, if we win one of our last two, win the West, I mean, I'm going to say this, that Coach Kirk Ferentz should win Big Ten Coach of the Year. Because I look at the other potentials who could claim that award, right? It's not going to be Jim Harbaugh. With everything surrounding Coach Harbaugh and the Michigan program right now, with the sign steal gate, the ongoing investigation of sign stealing, it's not going to go to the Michigan head coach. It's not going to go to Ryan Day, especially if Michigan defeats them in 2 weeks, which I think they will. The only other choice to me could be the interim coach at Northwestern, interim coach Braun, I believe his name is. Especially if Northwestern wins one more game, they are going bowling. They will be bowl eligible. I think he is the only other potential winner of the Big Ten Coach of the Year. And if Kirk Ferentz finds a way to navigate this season with a putrid offense to get to 10 wins and win a division title, I think you have to give him Big Ten Coach of the Year. With all of the turmoil, all of the struggles, keeping everything together and keeping this team on track. And I've been very critical of him, like a lot of you Hawkeye fans have, and a lot of you college football fans have, for good reason. But I absolutely think they get one more victory to get to 9 or 2 more to get to 10. Hands down, he's got to be Big Ten Coach of the Year. I don't see any other person other than the interim coach that I mentioned at Northwestern. So I wanted to mention that about coaching a little bit. All right. So where do we go from here? I told you Iowa is home in the upcoming week against Illinois on Senior Day. Rutgers, I believe they will play Maryland. Let me check that really quick here to make sure. Looks like coming up on Rutgers' schedule. Let's see. Who does Rutgers have here? I did have this on my brain earlier today. Let me just check here. I don't want to be misquoted. So actually, no. Rutgers goes to Happy Valley next week. They go to Penn State. So it will be a tough matchup for the Scarlet Knights, but it's already been a successful season. They're going bowling. They have gone above what a lot of experts, pundits, and Vegas thought they would do. They were set at 3.5 victories preseason. I told you all to take the over. If you did, congratulations. Your wallet's going to get a lot fatter like mine is. So best of luck to Rutgers next week in Happy Valley against Penn State. So that's what's on the line. Iowa wins. Big Ten West title is in our grasp. Hopefully they get it done this weekend at home for the home folks, and wrap up that division and send everybody home happy for the rest of the week. On some separate news, but something I got to mention, just breaking right before I came on today, it was reported that much embattled former Iowa signal caller, quarterback Spencer Petras, has entered the transfer portal as a graduate senior, as a grad student. I just want to say to Spencer, best of luck to you no matter where you land, and I hope somebody does take a shot, does give him another chance to rectify his college football experience and his time wearing a uniform, because a lot of Iowa fans now understand that what we saw the last 2 years under Spencer Petras did not fall solely on him. I feel like a lot of the times he had to bear the brunt of Iowa's struggles, but we've seen now that the offensive side of the ball at Iowa is completely shattered. He did what he could, but that's all he could do. It wasn't just Spencer Petras, it was also the lack of offensive line, the lack of playmakers at wide receiver, play calling, scheme, everything. So best of luck to you, Spencer Petras. I hope you do find a landing spot. And man, I really, really hope somebody gives him an opportunity to come in and be the starting quarterback. But that's really about all I have to say. I've kind of rambled on long enough. Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention. I appreciate it. Your continued support for the program. If you would like to watch future episodes, please subscribe, hit that notification button, like, share, rate, and please comment. I absolutely will get back to each and every one of you individually much sooner than later, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts, Hawkeye fans and college football fans. So until later this week, enjoy the rest of your work week, school week. I appreciate it. And I'll talk with you soon. Go Hawks.